Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Brendan. I am here with John.
Hello.
Hello. Do you have anything to say to people this morning?
What is the difference between
Mhm.
a joke and three dicks?
What is the difference between a joke and three dicks?
Your mom can't take a joke.
Holy shit. That is so
You leave that one in or not?
that is inappropriate. We
Yes,
need
it
to come
is.
up with one that's female, the other side of it.
Oh God, do we? Do we have to?
Ah.
Um, all right, I'll try to think of one. uh, oh, too much pressure. You have to give me some
What's
time.
the difference between a I don't know. Your dad can't take that much feminine energy. What's the difference
Uh,
between a joke and three women? Your dad can't take that much power in that.
oh God, yeah. You
You
could
see
do.
what I'm trying to do?
Your dad can't take that much power.
Yeah. Joke and
A women's empowerment. The
yeah,
joke
women's
is
empowerment joke.
yeah. Huh.
Fuck it. Well, no, that's funny. Man. Lesson today is do not buy a cheap plastic tripod.
Okay.
You want to buy a tripod, make sure it's sturdy. Don't go cheap plastic. Cheap plastic is cheap, but it's cheap and it's plastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No bueno.
It's,
We have
you should.
something here. It just broke.
Mm.
We get on, guys. We have apprentices now. Like,
How's the
uh,
apprenticeship going?
it's
What's the
going
update?
good. The update is they're getting started. It's taking them a little bit. They're starting to come around on some of the basics,
Okay.
but it takes a little bit of enthusiasm to get them
Mm.
to recognize things.
Yeah.
See, and now I don't know. That's a funny thing because I don't know if there's a better way. You've heard about the carrot and the stick.
Yeah. I use the carrot and the stick all the time.
Yeah, and people say, well, the carrot's better. Sometimes I don't. For certain things, I don't think so. Just really doesn't work.
It depends on what the overall context of the relationship is. And if you're in a situation where you don't need to be liked by that person, you don't value the long-term relationship that you have with that person, you can get a lot of immediate results with sticks. That's what
Yeah,
the military does. They don't give a fuck if you care about them.
yeah,
And they're going to use a lot of sticks. They use carrots too, but they'll use a lot of sticks. But for parenting, uh, it makes sense not to use too many sticks because then
yeah,
you have a shitty relationship with your child, and one day that child's going to be a grown up, and it'd be nice to have a good relationship with that person.
yeah, and yeah. That's an interesting thought. Probably depends per the relationship.
Yeah. And I think in a couple romantic relationship, sticks are not the thing to do.
Right.
Out.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
No. No bueno. Like, yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. Seems to check out.
Hmm.
When it comes to growing apprentices, though,
That's different. You've got them for how many months, and you're there to make some transformation, some change, and
yeah,
get conscious, and you don't have that much time.
yeah,
And
and
that,
I don't think that in other types of relationships, that people aren't necessarily growing.
yeah, that may not be the purpose of the relationship.
Yeah, I think in
Uh,
a growth type relationship, it's more.
yeah, that's what coaching often has a hard aspect to it.
Yeah,
Like personal growth coaching, like somebody's going to hold you accountable. It's not easy by definition. Or like if
yeah,
you're a sports athlete, you've got a coach. The coach is being hard on you. Like he's making you or she's making you work, do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do
Yeah.
to help you improve your performance. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
For my son, we have like designated times where daddy becomes a coach.
Oh
But when
yeah.
I step out of that role, I stop that. I do my
Yeah.
best to really make it like, okay, now we're doing rounds, we're doing dodging rounds, and it's not easy. Or we have other things that we do, reading and different stuff. And during those times, there's like an expectation of performance and effort.
Yeah.
And but I don't stay that way all the time. And there's also limits so that he knows when we're moving into that time frame and when we're not in that time frame, and the expectations are different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That seems smart. How's his dodging coming along?
Dude, he is actually, I shit you not, he is starting to get following. He's starting to actually get it.
Sweet.
And
Yeah,
he's
maybe
started to enjoy it.
you'll have the first baby trained up in some Changshin principles from like early.
He told me the last time we did some dodging, because he was here last weekend. He we did we're getting to where we're doing longer and longer sessions where he's asking me when we're going to do them, and he's not asking them like, oh my god, I have to do them. He's like, when are we going to do our dodging? He wants to
Interesting.
do it.
Okay.
And he told me after we were working on following in, after I
Yeah.
do the punch or so we do rubber swords too
Yeah.
sometimes and do different things. And he was working on just following in, follow the punch back in towards my body and
Yeah.
stay in a following relationship all the time. And he started getting into it, and I could see that it was making a difference in his dodging. And after he was like, Dad, I love this. This is so much easier. It's fun.
Aha.
Yeah. He said it's
Nice.
so much easier than not following. He started grasping it. And we were also doing some dodging up on it's an irregular surface. It's like there's it's an urban environment, and there's a tree growing up out of the concrete, but
Yeah.
around it there are bricks inlaid in a pattern, and they rise up and down and like some little hills.
Yeah.
So it's irregular. You're going up and down, kind of like a roller derby course or something.
Yeah.
And we've been practicing our dodging on that. And he worked hard for more than half an hour. And afterwards, I've never seen him like this. He was sitting on the top of one of those little hills, and just his posture, I could see this very, very clear sense of satisfaction in
Mm-hmm.
him about what he could do, what he was capable of. It wasn't coming from me. It wasn't any kind of external reward. I saw it in him,
Good
the
for you,
internal
dude.
experience that he
Yeah.
had.
There you go.
But I've manipulated the fuck out of the kid to get him there. I did a lot of positive reinforcement, some negative reinforcement, I've made it happen to get him to this point. He had that encounter with some douchebags driving a motor
Yeah, on a
scooter on
moped
a
on a
sidewalk.
fucking sidewalk. Yeah.
Yeah, that helped. Could have killed him, but it helped.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, he's finding his own internal reasons now to do that kind of work outside of even self-defense. Just in his own experience, it's improving his own experience.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
That's fucking
I like
great. Yeah.
it.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. All teaching is manipulation. I mean, you know that, but it's like people
Mm.
come in, it's like they're gonna learn martial arts, and at some point I'll crack that joke. And it sounds bad, but when we take the bad out of manipulation, it's just we have it to handle with skill, you know? That's
It's
all
what
it
human
is.
beings do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
what we're up to all the time. Come to a workshop. you know, I'm manipulating the microphone. I'm manipulating my voice. And then there's like the general, you could have covert manipulations of somebody else's mind and shit like that. And that sounds bad, but at the end of the day, that's like what we're doing.
Mm.
Whenever you know this, you guys out there maybe don't know this, or we consider it in terms of you go talk to somebody at the grocery store, you manipulate them so that they feel good and you feel good. See, but it still sounds bad, doesn't it? Manipulate. The the badness is linked right up into the word.
Yeah, I think if people don't want to accept that they themselves are manipulating other people, that they're manipulating themselves, and in turn are being manipulated by others, it can seem really harsh, really aggressive, really
Or
cynical.
just, yeah, or wrong for some reason. But no, we're not looking at it in those terms. Not the right and wrong. Just more like
Mm.
what is happening. But yeah, that's great. I like that. Get them trained
Yeah,
up. Cool.
it's fun. I will one
See
day. I
how it
want you to
continues.
train him. I want him. I want you to train him someday.
Yeah.
You know, I want him to send him to you, or you come over here, or vice versa, something,
Yeah.
and have those experiences. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe he'd
we'll
like it.
see.
We'll see. Yeah, I
Yeah.
will be in Holland next August.
Mm. Hmm.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, shall we go through commentary on the videos?
I think it's a very good idea.
Let's check in with some of the videos. Some of you out there have made comments on the videos. Thanks for commenting. Um,
Yeah.
fuck, I can't even. I'm tired. Let's see. YouTube Studio. Where do I need to go? I guess I just need to go to my channel.
I've got a few pulled up.
Okay. Comments. What? Holy shit. Yeah, what you got?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
Oh, view my
Well,
channel.
there was the one from Victim Mentality, 32 Victim Mentality Deep Dive. I think that was the last one we did.
Yeah.
And you had someone, you can say this better than me, Osozananost. She said something very nice, and then she had a question.
Yeah, what's the question? I don't know how to
Her
say your
her
name now.
okay, her
Go ahead. Go.
her question. Well, she said she is enjoying the podcast a lot, so that
Thank
was
you for listening in.
nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she also said, "Have you done an episode on free will specifically? Would love to hear you go on that road or go that road."
Yeah. No, we have not done an episode on free will. And thank you. Yeah, I wonder about. Well, let's see. People are wondering if I think when like the first thing I wonder about is why are people asking about free will? Do you know
Mm,
where this idea about free will, like what's the history? Do we have any history there? Not
probably a
not you
lot.
and I, but I mean, where did that idea come from? Why are we questioning?
Hmm. Let's look at ye old Bing right off the bat. What's the history of the concept of free will?
Yeah, looking there now. History of the concept of free will. Not free will, free will. The term Wikipedia, the term free will, liberum arbitrium, if I'm getting the Latin right, was introduced by Christian philosophy 4th century CE. It is traditionally meant until the Enlightenment proposed its own meanings. Lack of necessity in human will, so that the will is free, meant the will does not have to be such as it is.
The will does not have to be such as it is, so the will can change. So the will is free.
Yeah, so it can change. The problem of free will has been identified in the ancient Greek philosophical literature. The notion of compatibilist, I don't know what that fucking means.
Compatibilist.
The notion of compatibilist free will has been attributed to both Aristotle, 4th century BC, and Epictetus, 1st century CE. It was a fact that nothing hindered us from doing or choosing something that made us have control over them. According to Suzanne Bobzine, the notion of incompatibilist free will is perhaps first identified in the works of Alexander of Aphrodisias. What makes us have control over things is the fact that we are casually undetermined in our decision and thus can freely decide between doing and choosing or doing and choosing them. The term free will, liberum arbitrium, was introduced by Christian philosophy. 4th century CE has traditionally meant, until the Enlightenment proposed its own meanings, lack of necessity in human will, so that the will is free, meant the will does not have to be such as it is. This requirement was universally embraced by both incompatibilists and compatibilists.
Yeah.
And then
what's the difference between a compatibilist and an incompatibilist?
I don't know. Can you look that up?
So here it says, when you're getting into modern thought, there are hard determinists and soft determinists. And soft determinists were called compatibilists. Hard determinists deny free will, asserting that people cannot decide or act otherwise than they actually did. So everything from the moment of the beginning of existence has already been decided. It's already concluded. It's just that we're so-called, I guess we're like acting it out. We're going through the motions, but it's already done.
Okay.
As it is. Soft determinists, compatibilists attempt to reconcile determinism and free will, the notion of free will, by subtly revising the common sense notion of free will. So they're changing what the idea of free will means. For instance, G.E. Moore suggested that acting freely means one would have acted differently if one had decided to do so, even if that decision was impossible. I'm not sure I understand that. Harry Frankfurt argued that acting freely involves identifying with one's desires, even if those desires lead to inevitable actions. So something to do with identification. The idea of free will has evolved over time. It's got a history. The ancient Greek thinkers thought about it, medieval philosophers thought about it, and modern philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, they have all considered this.
Okay.
Sartre, he thought it was perpetual freedom of choice. He emphasizes radical freedom, like where everything you do is free, 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 free.
Yeah, okay. And Western philosophy, the underlying questions are whether we have control over our actions. What sort of control and to what extent? These questions predate the early Greek Stoics, and some modern philosophers lament the lack of progress over all these centuries. Now,
we still don't know.
On one hand, humans have a strong sense of freedom, which leads them to believe they have free will. On the other hand, an intuitive feeling of free will could be mistaken. It's difficult to reconcile the intuitive evidence that conscious decisions are causally effective with the view that the physical world can be explained entirely by physical law. The conflict between intuitively felt freedom And natural law arises when either casual closure or physical determinism, non what the fuck, non-logical determinism is asserted. I am fucking lost at this point. I don't know what the fuck they're even talking about. With casual closure, no physical event has cause outside the physical domain. Oh, no physical event has a cause outside the physical domain.
Including, I suppose, the movement of your hand.
Right. Well, yeah, see? With physical determinism, the future is determined entirely by preceding events, cause and effect.
Well, I don't know
So,
if we can unravel all that.
no, there's the puzzle of recording, but I can poke some holes.
Okay.
We can poke in there for sure. I imagine. The puzzle of reconciling free will with a deterministic universe is known as the problem of free will, or sometimes referred to as the dilemma of determinism. This dilemma leads to a moral dilemma as well. The question of how to assign responsibility for actions. Here we go. If they are caused entirely by past events. Yeah. Well, as far as I can tell, let's not like fuck free will and whether it's free or not. We'll start there. And what when you experience life, do you experience having a choice?
Yeah, that's the story I tell myself.
Yeah. So then that's your experience. You do have a choice
In your experience.
in your experience.
Yeah.
Good. Solved it.
There you go. It's all done. I wonder, where people are coming from when they ask that question.
Yeah.
And I think there's a conundrum that's kind of perpetual, and it's why this question sticks around. Because on the one hand, we have the desire and maybe the need to be free agents in our life. And that allows us to choose and to create and to, be alive. And
Yeah.
then on the other hand, we also have the desire to escape the responsibility of the various circumstances that we
'Cause
experience.
that's where that's my sense as to why people are maybe into
Yeah,
that.
and
It's like,
I
am I
think
responsible? I don't want to be responsible.
well, maybe like we
Easier.
have both needs, and we have a need to be free. We also have a need to not be responsible for everything that exists around us. Um, because there actually are things that we can't control. Try making the sky red,
Yeah.
or like, right. And yeah, we've got both needs, and I think there's a tension between the two, and what's motivating the question, when people ask that question, and how do we really behave.
Yeah. Well, here's a question. What is will?
I think it's indistinguishable from life itself.
What is free will? If it's
Like,
indistinguishable from life itself, then what's that? You know? What
it's
is it?
life is matter that self-organizes. It has like a pattern of self-organization
But
that
when you talk
resists
about,
its own demise and seeks to perpetuate its existence
well, we call that,
through.
I mean, I call that distinction, I just call that life. That's
Yeah,
life
and,
happening.
and I think will is life. Like, it's literally life. So, and it ends when the life ends.
Well, that's
Like,
something you don't have control over. There does seem to be an aspect of my experience that I have control over. Like I can decide to lift an arm or I can decide to not lift an arm. And then what's the argument? Yeah, but you don't know if you're actually deciding that. Is that how that goes?
yeah, but because you can always, it's the chicken or the egg shit. You can always go back and say there was a signal that went to the brain, and choices were made before you consciously made them, and so forth.
Yeah.
uh so you can always do that. But I think I understand where people are coming from when you say like it's a question of identity, because where do you put the notion of self that
Yeah.
is authoring or
If
responsible or agent to the decision, the choice, or really the movement, the
right.
action that
Do you
occurred?
even know the one who is making the decisions? Who are you?
Hmm.
And what are you made of?
Hmm.
Might be useful to answer those questions first before going like, oh well, do I have free will? Do you even know an I like a you? Because if you don't know you, that's gonna be gummied up from the start.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to narrow that down.
Yeah, so you better I guess you better do a contemplation intensive. Come to a workshop. Come to a workshop. You
Yeah,
can
but
answer that who am I question.
before you can figure out if you're free or not, who are you?
Yeah, who is the one who is the one who wants to know if they're free? Because you
Yeah.
probably don't even know who you are. That's a bold statement, but I've seen it. People be like,
Mm,
oh, I know who I am. I'm like, yeah, tell me. Go ahead.
mm.
And then even better, tell me where you are located. Once we handle that, okay, so I would do that. Also, here's another one. What is free will without language?
Mm.
Language is a learned skill,
Okay.
right? Now, what is free will with no language?
I don't know. To
Which is
me,
to say,
it looks like. Can I answer that? Can I
yeah,
give a
oh yeah,
stab
go
at
go,
that? Can I
yeah, take a
stab at it?
stab,
So it's
stab.
not definitive. It's not
No,
definitive. It's just
yeah, we're just
it,
exploring here.
I look at will as fundamentally as the will to live. It's the will to not
Oh,
die. And then
oh,
all variations, like whether I go left or right or whether I say yes or no, are all variations on that will to live. It's not fundamentally different than a plant moving towards the sun.
oh, you see it that way, that like that. Yeah, yeah, and I think people are making an additional distinction of you can decide
Yeah,
stuff.
I look at that as like a nifty a nifty feature of human condition, of human
Because
being,
I
kind of like
suspect
animals, like tigers have claws and stripes, and
I
humans
know.
have language and choice.
Right. Yeah. So that because that would be another thing to clarify is when you say free will, what do you mean? What are we talking about? Because you've got will as the will to live, and then everything is wrapped up in that.
It's
That's
all
what.
survival.
Yeah. Which I would agree with you. It is all survival, and then it's like, well, is it free? If that's what will is, but you see, who are we talking to, and what do you mean when you say
Yes and
free
no.
will? Yeah.
It's yes and no. It's free and it's not free. It's like
Yep.
it's free within the context of it is going towards survival.
Yeah.
And so that's not going to fucking
And
change.
I would say
But
that's not free. That's
it's not free, but there's
we're
a
locked in.
relative kind of freedom there
Yeah.
because there's a lot of process and movement and the possibility of becoming more conscious and this and that. It's like mysterious.
Yeah. And then there's things that don't even adhere to physical law.
Such as?
Me.
Oh, well, what do you mean you don't adhere to physical law?
Come to a workshop.
And we'll see you fly? We'll see you teleport?
No, it depends on what we're calling me again.
Hmm.
You know, just depends what you mean when you say me. Whatever. There's shit. There's the real deal. Like whatever's really happening here, you could say, does not need perception even. That's a bold statement too. Shit.
Hmm.
I'm just saying. But now and then how does that fit in everything? It doesn't. There's no fitting. So, you know, It doesn't matter.
Would you say you operate out of a paradigm, or
Sure.
do you not have a paradigm? Do you
It's
have
like as best I can, a paradigmless paradigm. But yeah, no, I operate out of a life. It's tricky because on one side I have access to the consciousness that is free of everything already, and I live as a person.
Mhm.
And as a person, I've got tons of shit. Where's my life going? Where did it come from? How is my work shaped how I view my life? And and that's sort of, I'm sure we could dig in there and tease out all kinds of beliefs and assumptions about how things are, and you know
Mm.
stuff like that. But yeah, every person has something like that going on, as far as I can
Mm.
tell. It's useful for organizing things and operating.
I don't see how one can go without it, not as a human being.
Yeah. Did we handle the free will? Are we moving on to the paradigmless paradigm person comment?
We could move on to the next comment.
Oh,
I
so do we have free will? Do we not have free will? You figure it out. Remember, it's useful to get what free will is, what you are. If you want to know if it's real or not, you got to get what reality is, so you can really truly know these things. That would be my guess. Because I think we live within a world that looks real. And so if we're trying to go for what's real, we got to figure out what's real. I was just talking to some people while you were gone.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, so figure it out. Next comment.
You want me to read?
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Same video.
Oh, did you have any closing remarks about free will? I just said basically figure it out and get
I
conscious of
had
who, what you are, and what reality is.
I had another thought about that topic just a second ago, and it relates to what you asked about language.
Mm,
Is there free will without language? And so as I'm learning French and talking with my girlfriend, and we are exploring the languages together, there are differences between how people think in French and how they think in English due to the way that the tenses are designed and the way that they use them.
yeah.
And and people have a different experience of agency around different things. For example, in
Oh,
forgetting.
we need to keep going because I had another thought. Keep going.
Okay, so in forgetting, like if I ask you, um, in the present tense, hey, do you remember that guy's phone number?
Yeah.
And you don't, what are you going to say?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't what?
I don't remember his phone number.
Yeah, I don't remember. So you use the present I don't remember.
Right?
Okay?
Yeah, I
A
don't remember.
French person will
I
say
don't say
the
I don't remembered.
yeah, no. But you say I don't remember. You say I don't remember, or you might say no, I forget.
Yeah, I forgot. I might say I
Yeah.
forgot.
You might say I forgot in the past.
Yeah.
French people will say I have forgotten. The equivalent of I have forgotten. J'ai oublié. And that's I have forgotten.
Okay.
And the
What do you
look, so what I mean to say is if you ask an American what if they remember something like that, the look on their face might be like, and they'll look around, they're looking for the information, and then they'll say, no, I forget,
Yeah.
or I can't remember. A French person, typically, will go like, they'll just do that. They'll like wide eyed and kind of
Uh-huh.
like they'll do this like,
It's kind of like,
yeah, they'll do this like wide eyed look, and it's like it's not anywhere. Like it's not here. I don't have it. And there's
oh,
like
I
this
see.
I have forgotten. I already forgot. It's in the past and it's totally outside of my control. And when I talked with my
Um,
girlfriend about this, and she says
okay.
that there's an experience of having no agency, of having no control. It's done and it's outside of my control, and I'm not going to continue to look for it. And it's she says that it has to do with the education that people receive in France when they're young. They're kind of trained up to where, like, if you have the right answer, you're good. If you don't have the right answer, you're stupid. You're shamed. And so
Right.
people just like they just pull this blank face where they just like don't know because they don't want to try because it's bad to be wrong. It's
Oh
better to
boy.
not know than it is to be wrong. And
Oh boy.
so it comes across as being very, negative,
Yeah.
but the experience that people literally have
All
is
right.
one of less agency, and the
Yeah.
language that they use to express it is one that the choice was made in the past. It's not now, it's not me here and now, it's done, it's in the past. Whereas in American culture, we tend to say in the simple present, I don't remember. Simple present, I forget. Simple present, I forget. I
Like,
don't
I
remember
did it.
now. And it happens after you see the facial expression. Usually there's a looking
Trying to
around,
find
thinking,
it.
trying to find it. It's a different experience of agency.
That's interesting.
And that's just one tiny example. And I can
Yeah.
imagine many, many examples like that in a wide variety of languages. When you set up the subject, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, subjects are not identical across languages. You have subjects that don't exist from one language to another.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the way that people express, like, um, you know, eh, there's so many things. Whether I am however old I am, or whether I have years, whether I
Hmm.
do something or whether I have it, right?
Yeah.
This is different language to language. And the amount of agency, what is the subject? Is it me or is it it? Whatever it is, changes depending on the way people's language is constructed. So I'm just to your point, does choice exist without language? I don't know, but language does impact people's experience of choice and agency.
Agency.
I'm pretty damn sure.
Yeah, I am certain it does. And also, the language is representative of an experience.
But it changes the experience.
Yeah, language is incredibly powerful in that regard. It's like it is generative of experience. If you take language away, like even the possibility of language, a whole bunch of shit goes away. Come to another workshop, the Transcending Self workshop. We deep dive into this one. Got it. I'm on fire. You guys need to come to a workshop for sure. We do them online too. Navigate the websites. Come on down.
Ooh,
Yeah,
cool.
fucking goddamn. And okay, so agency, right? That's another
Hmm.
thing I was gonna talk about. When people are saying free will, one of the things, like, again, taking free will off the table, does it exist? Not exist? Don't care at this point. When a person, like we in our previous podcast or in one of our previous ones, we looked into victim mentality. If somebody does have a victim mentality, they, in their experience, have no choice. The
By
reality is,
definition.
by definition, they don't have a choice. It's not me. I can't do it. Ah, da, 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 da. Obviously, you can see my relationship to a victim mentality is one of disdain because it's not powerful. There's a consequence to having a victim mentality. It's you lose power. You can't do shit. Now, somebody can change that about themselves and they make new distinctions where they are no longer the victim. They have control. They can do it. They are the author. They are responsible. They are accountable. And when a person does that, now they have more power. They likely feel better about themselves. They have more control. They can do more shit. They will do more shit. And it's on them. It's a better experience. See? Now, that tells me something about experience. You know, like you were
What do
saying, that's what, you know, basically I'm reiterating a little bit what you were mentioning, where in one cultural experience, somebody does have an experience of agency and control over just this simple forgetting or not.
mm,
And another experience is, no, I have agency. So that means that you can change your experience from one thing to another. That's all I'm saying.
do you think it could be the reverse, going in the reverse way could also be empowering? So going from not into a victim mentality, but surrendering control, so to speak, saying, you know what? It's not my fault. I actually don't have control over that. I didn't have control over that, and it's done.
Yeah, like speaking to what I heard heard you speaking about earlier, where, yeah, oh, I didn't have control over that, and it's, you know, I'm not wrong anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure, because it's freeing, it's healing. It's a weight lifted off the shoulders. I couldn't do anything about that because guess what? It's in the past. You can't. It's over.
hmm
You don't control the past.
I think maybe there's flexibility and the ability to move from different perspectives with regards to oneself and the story one tells oneself is empowering.
Yeah. And
You
so
know,
many people do not think they don't, one, they probably don't even know that's possible.
mm,
Two, they don't even know that a huge aspect of what their own suffering is how they're relating to the story they tell themselves about what happened. And they don't even know it's possible to, in an instant, stop relating to that shit that way and let it go.
mm.
In an instant. It can happen in an instant, and years of bullshit can just be gone. And I guess nobody got the memo. I had to be taught. Some smart motherfucker realized that possibility and taught people, and I got taught and did it, and it blew my fucking mind. It was so good, so healthy, so freeing.
Mm.
Your past
And
is not you.
and it could be just as simple as linguistically or otherwise assuming agency and responsibility for the experience or surrendering agency and responsibility of the experience, depending on what it is, what that
Well,
experience is.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know because I don't know. It sounds like we might be mixing things now, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not sure if we're mixing things at this point.
So like if it's the past, if it's stuff in the past that if you're beating yourself up for, there may be regret, shame,
Well,
guilt, or
let's
just
just,
feelings of like
yeah,
something like
maybe
that.
let's pause right there. So like say something happens in my past and I am saying I'm taking agency for
hmm
I hurt somebody. If it was like, if the reality, oh, this is getting tricky. But if the reality is, if I'm honest, I actually didn't hurt somebody. Somebody else was
hmm
being reactive to my shit. Like if
Mm.
they're reacting unnecessarily, but I mistakenly think that I'm the one doing the hurting, and then I beat myself up for being a bad person and
Mm.
hurting them, I could actually take responsibility for the fact that they are the one causing their own hurt, not me. Then there is agency, I think, or responsibility at least, but being responsible to what's true in that matter.
So
No, they
being
are reacting. That's not on me.
yeah, being
That's the
clear and
truth.
accurate about your where you are putting real responsibility. Do you actually have control over that or not? Like
Right.
what's the truth?
Yeah, and even that, like if I'm hurting, yeah, what's the truth is an excellent question. And if I'm hurting somebody else, like is that actually my intent to hurt them? No. Was I doing anything wrong? No. then why the fuck am I beating myself up like, oh, I hurt them, I did the bad thing, I didn't? No, because the truth is, I didn't do the bad thing. I'm just beating myself up, thinking that I can actually control somebody else's emotions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then yeah, I don't know how that fits in, but I wanted to share that because I thought we started to
Mm.
maybe lose clarity or get lost a little bit. So I wasn't
Okay.
sure. Yeah. But yeah, that letting go stuff, that's totally healthy, freeing. Like so much better. Why burden yourself with all that? And even if you were, for example, a bad person, you did bad things, and you're not doing bad things anymore, you don't need to beat yourself up for doing bad things. You can
Mm-hmm.
recognize a bad thing, change, and be done. See, but then that's not popular, I don't think, because you're supposed to beat yourself up for a while. But why beat yourself up?
Mm.
So to make sure I don't do it again. What are you, stupid? Like you need to be beaten like a child because you're too dumb to realize that you did a bad thing and you can just stop. You see, but like
Did you,
I think we think that way. I don't know. I've done it.
and even what you said there, do children need to be beaten?
Yeah. Ooh. Chastise or whatever, repeatedly
Mm-hmm.
chastise for doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
so how does that fit in with free will? But we can talk about agency and choice, and then also having one experience be show up a certain way, and then another experience show up another way, and we can clearly see if you take a look, the consequences for one are good, powerful, healthy, freeing. There's consequences for another way, and that's disempowering, probably not healthy, probably uncomfortable, probably low self-esteem, not freeing, not powerful. And then
But you get to be right, and if you do it in the right way, you get to be part of a club.
yes, you see, you get to be right. That's what you get
and
out of that, right?
and maybe included.
Yeah.
And I think those are powerful, powerful motivations.
Oh,
People want to be right.
huge.
They want to be included. We really want to be included. Can I join
Yeah.
your club? Please let me
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, it's a serious deal. It's a serious deal. So again, probably should get clear on who it is that wants to be included and what are all of these powerful forces that we live within. You know how to do that?
Come to a workshop?
Workshop. Yes. We dig into all this shit. We go so deep, it's ridiculous.
Uh,
So anyway,
okay.
yeah, cool. Next one.
Let's see.
Banana.
Yeah. Okay. There is just a lot of stuff here. I don't even know.
Yeah, let's go to like some simple or find the question part.
Okay.
Thanks for writing in the comments, by the way, people. Keep writing in the comments. I want you to get on in there and write stuff, but don't just write bullshit. All right, write truthful, thought out. Like, what's the truth? Write true shit, honest stuff. Write honest comments.
Someone wrote, "How long has the war actually been going on in Ukraine?"
I don't
There's
fucking
just,
know.
I don't either. It's been a while.
And then, speaking of cause and effect, you go, there was a war in Ukraine, but then before that, there was another war from somebody else. And then before that, and then before the Ukrainians got to Ukraine, it was some other culture that got wiped out by some other culture. And now we're going way, way, way back in history. And it's like everybody's fucking and killing and fucking and killing. And we just keep fucking each other and killing each other. Oh, before that, what were we doing as Neanderthals?
Well, we weren't Neanderthals, but I was, and you probably were to some extent. Most humans have some Neanderthal DNA, but
Yeah.
it's not very much.
Yeah.
And
Well,
apparently the
there's some.
Neanderthals were killing us.
Yeah, there's some
They were
fucking
good
going
at
on.
it.
Yeah. And
It was
so
rape. They raped us. They
not
murdered, raped, and ate us, apparently,
yeah,
for fun.
that's intense.
Yeah, that's intense.
So we've been doing that for a while, and then religion comes along. Now we can kill each other and fuck each other in the name of God.
But which one? Is it the right one or the wrong one?
uh, yeah, your God is right.
All right, you guys need to write more questions. We appreciate your comments. Like, thanks, I love this shit and love it and good one.
Yeah, yeah, write a
Um,
bunch of those. Bunch of the
that's
good ones.
fantastic.
And then
But
also ask us questions.
yeah, I'm looking for the questions here, and
One.
oh no, not there. Yeah, more.
Yeah, that's okay.
Maybe the best video we've ever done has some. Let's see, because it was the best video we've ever done.
That's right. And then we had the worst video we've ever done. Man,
I'm
I
literally
my
just looking for a question mark.
yeah, they may not be there. Whoa, Brendan, Jesus, take it easy.
Oh, I found one.
Okay, we found one.
All
Okay,
right,
let's just
maybe,
go with that,
maybe.
and then wrap it up here.
Okay. Okay, so this one I think was we were talking about the US, the old days, something.
Okay.
In regards to the psychopath comment, so one of us made a comment about psychopaths. Sounds like me. Sounds like something I do. It's only
Oh,
advantageous to a certain goal or certain end. Want false power enforced through effort and constant deception? Sure, it'll work until you have a deal with have to deal with the consequences. Oh, okay. So it's not really.
not
There's
a
a question
question.
mark there, but it's not really a question. Damn it. He's making. It's a good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
psychopaths. No, sorry.
Okay. That's fine. I think we can wrap it up here. And then this can
Okay.
be the free will episode.
Uh, but did we choose to do this episode, or
I
was it?
don't know if we chose this or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like we were influenced by outside forces beyond our comprehension. But then in questioning it, am I exerting some kind of choice?
Yeah. Like we can doubt stuff and then can we doubt we're doubting? I don't
I
know.
can. I'm sure of it. Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Yeah, it's
Wasn't
a
that what Kant said? Like Kant, he was like, I think therefore I am. He's that guy,
no
right?
Nietzsche. Speaking of
No, Nietzsche.
no, look
Nietzsche
it up.
wasn't the one who said that. He was? I think therefore I am. That was Nietzsche? Nietzsche?
Oh, hang
Nietzsche?
on. I have it
No,
right here.
it was Kant.
No,
He's got it on a piece of paper. It must be true.
it must be true. No, I wrote a note because I did a video. We need to look it up now. We need to look it up.
I think it was Kant.
I was not Kant.
You can tell how historically accurate we are by this. Who said I think therefore I am?
Yeah, Descartes.
Oh, Descartes. Okay.
See, I was wrong too. Who did I say? Somebody else. Nietzsche?
Yeah, you
No.
were saying Nietzsche and I was saying Kant. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, wrong.
Cogito
Descartes.
ergo sum. Okay. And I think Peter, I remember if I'm not wrong, Peter saying that
Descartes
the
wrong.
real. Oh yeah. Well, Peter was saying that Descartes was saying the translation is really more like I doubt, therefore I am. Oh yeah. It even says
Oh.
here on Bing, the essence of this. Okay. The famous phrase, I think, therefore I am, originates from the French philosopher René Descartes. In Latin, it is expressed as cogito ergo sum,
Yeah.
and Descartes introduced this concept in his work Discourse on Method in 1637. The essence of this dictum lies in the assertion that our very act of doubting serves as proof of our existence. So, in other words, I can doubt, but I cannot doubt that I doubt. Therefore, I am. I can doubt everything except for the fact that I am doubting, because if I start to doubt, then I am clearly doubting, and therefore I am here, doubting whether I am
Right.
here or not. It's sort of the recognition, I think, of like, it's kind of like when you're contemplating and you realize you're doing something, and then you go, who is doing that? And you don't know, but you're now clear that there is a who is the one doing whatever the fucking thing is that one is
Yeah.
doing.
Well, if that's the case, then I don't get to go off on Descartes because then he's right. But to say I think, therefore I am, just flat out wrong
Yeah.
because you don't know.
But he was following the breadcrumb trail, and he arrived at that place where he realized he exists.
Yeah.
He didn't know who he was. At least it wasn't
Well,
expressed
we're
in those
speculating
lines.
also. We're speculating because we weren't there and we're not talking to him and we don't speak the language. And he's
I
dead.
mean, I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah.
okay.
And so maybe I say he's wrong, but I could say I think, therefore I am wrong.
I think he's wrong, therefore I'm right.
Therefore I'm right. And now, if you want to handle that question,
Come to a workshop?
workshop, yeah,
Mm,
contemplation intensive. Get
yeah.
who you are for real. Fucking blow your mind. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Oh my god. Thanks, man.
Sure.
All right, we good? Tune in. Say honest shit in the comments. Come to a workshop. Thank you for
Ask
listening.
questions.
Ask questions. That's another thing I think we should support is people out there ask some fucking questions. Like,
We love your questions.
love your questions, and also I think questioning is a very important and powerful thing to do as a human being. Growth lives in there, learning lives in there, exploration lives in there. If you don't ask questions, what are you doing? Like, I saw a brief video. This kid
Why are you even alive? You might as well just die. If
might
you're
as well
not
just
asking
die.
questions, we don't. I mean, sorry, no respect.
Nothing. Kid asked, like a YouTuber asked Elon Musk a question about the rockets, and Elon goes, "Oh, I don't know why we do that," and it fucking changed his shit. One question from at the right time, just So anyway, just ask questions. That's all we're saying. All right, we love you. Take care. Bye.